thing that we're going to talk about, this is the very first car that was built in Bowling Green. So this was last year, and I'll leave some of the time frame out of it. But this is what we do in manufacturing. We're trying to figure out how we can assemble the car. So we want to use, in every case that we can, the tools that we are going to use in the factory when we're doing serialized production. So you'll notice that if you've been in the plant, the carrier that's underneath that car, that's our trim carrier. That's where the cars come down and their first time they start moving through the factory. That's what the car is sitting on. So we're trying to replicate it. During these processes, we've already developed all of the standardized work for the roughly 250 different operators. What are all of these individual people going to have to do to assemble the car? And we're checking to make sure that our thoughts have been captured correctly into these documents that are used for the training. And this is the result. So it's very, very slow. Yeah, I gave all these people energy drinks. So it's really sped up quite a bit, but this is how we learn. And what you don't see is the body work and the assembly and the welding of all of that. This is simply just all the things associated with the general assembly. And as we go through and we dissect that a little bit, so what did you just see? And this is a snippet of the videos that went on throughout the course of the day. We had this idea to simply put GoPro cameras and mount them in different parts of the building. So they would just record everything. So you saw one day of what took 3 weeks of effort to put the first car together. And it was a lot of work. A lot of people were involved to make that happen. So what do you see in the photo is the next topic, and this is one of the images from the video. The first thing that you'll notice is that obviously we're not on the line, and let's just go back. If we took this car and put it online and took 3 weeks to produce that car, that means we're not producing anything else. That's when Kai goes and works somewhere else. So we don't like that, and so the idea is that we have to do things offline and use as many tools as we can that would replicate what happens when we move that. The other thing that we have is that this is replicating all the things that happen in what we call the trim area, the first part when we call a car comes down and moves in. We also have chassis sub. It's kind of obscured there, but if you've been in the plant, not many people have been in the plant, but some people have. And you've seen videos in the past of these AGVs that have the chassis that's put together. So all the chassis components, the engines, the transmissions, etc. That's over there, and the work's going on. Also, we have the IP sub-assembly, so the instrument panel. All of the work there is going on off to the side to help put this part together, because eventually all these parts have to come together to produce the whole car. So a lot of different people in the video, or in this picture, doing a lot of different things. And I put this last little bubble up here that's behind me. It says just group. So we have, during these times, we have manufacturing engineering teams from Michigan. We have a product engineering teams from Michigan. We have our localized teams and our localized engineering organization on all the teams that are supporting the build that have been spending time in Michigan on some of the other activities. All these people are with us, in this case in Bowling Green. So here's kind of the next shot. What you see in front of you in the foreground, that's the engine. This is the back of the car, obviously. And that's the little AGV, not so little, but that's what we build the chassis on. And what we're doing here is we're simply trying to use all the systems and processes that we need in the plant. So we're debugging all this. What's really unique is that you see the car is on the carrier that would be moving it through the factory, but once again, we want to simulate what it's going to be like in the plant. So we modified this car lift In the previous part of the video, you can see we put about a 5-foot piece of steel underneath the lift so we could simulate having the car in the air, and then the AGV with the chassis goes under it, and then that's actually a really cool shot. The one bolt that holds it together. There's more than one, but that's the one that we took the video of. And then you can see the whole thing going together. You see all the sensors and whatnot on the AGV. That AGV, with the way that we run our operations now, it has to be able to produce the current car and the new car. So it's extremely complex, you can imagine. And I guess it would be fair to say that all the systems and processes that we have in the plant right now, we're using the same line. So we produce both cars most days. We're in full production of C7, and then we interject the new cars into the line, and they need to go through with relative ease, which makes all the systems and processes that much more complex.